Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, and Hag Sameach. This is the second day of the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah, and I'm delighted to share with you this morning a little testimony, a little praise report. Actually, it's very big for me. First of all, I want to apologize. There hasn't been a whole lot of activity on our website, blogs or podcasts or anything like that. But just there's been a season here where Father's kind of taken us to the side and instructing us some things that have happened, and he's showing us, and he's showing and revealing to my heart some things that I hope to be able to share with you guys later. But sometimes he kind of pulls us apart to the side so that he can teach us and we can learn what he has to say, and then we can go out and share it with people. But sometimes he shares some things that are just personal, and he doesn't want it shared with anybody because it's for our own growth. And that's why we do these podcasts, is that the things that we are able to share, it's not only for our growth, but it's for the ones who listen. So we just want to take this opportunity. I want to thank you for your support and your prayers for Rivka and I. It was a couple of not a couple of weeks ago, it was about a month ago that I got a text message from my son. Long story short, he said he's ready to surrender, and he's now staying with us, and for a time being, and Father is turning his life completely around, and he is on a good path, and he's going forward, and Father is really doing some exciting work in his life. And just thank you for the continued support. You can go back and there's a message that I did is actually what I wrote for my dad's funeral a while back, called a journey of reconciliation. And I will be doing this, another one of those eventually, but just know that Father is reconciling my son and I, and this time it's very permanent, and to Father be all the praise, to his name, and we just want to just give him all the praise for that, because I don't have the words to say. Sometimes you just don't know what to say except thank you. And, sometimes I wonder if Father says, why are you surprised if, this is what you've asked me and I provide you? We get so overwhelmed because he's answered our prayers. Well, he's answered them, yes, because we've expected him to answer us. That's in Jacob or James, that talks about that we need to expect to hear what he has to say, and to expect the things that we ask for of him, regarding, for example, wisdom. But just want to thank you all for your continued prayers for that. For as we go forward into this new territory, we're always moving forward into new arenas and new territory, and it's very exciting to me to have him in my life, and to have him in our life, and for the people that's helped and that's supported and that's been there for us during this process. Another thing is I've some of you all may know that I've got a pretty decent job, and Father has blessed me with that very much. And the other day, I'm working in a different place, not the office, but it's in a aircraft hangar, and there's a guy that's I'm working with, and I won't go into all the details, but there were some difficulties. He got upset with me because of something I said, but that was completely innocent. Though there were people there that said, "Hey, you don't need to talk to this guy because he takes everything kind of wrong." So, but it still bothered me. So, a week or two went by and he never said anything to me. But I did go the next morning after that happened, and I apologized to him, and I humbled myself. Though, I don't feel like I did anything wrong, I still did it anyway. And it was a couple of days ago, time passed, and then a couple of days ago, this man came into my spirit, and I really felt like I needed to pray for his salvation, and that Father would open a door for me to speak into his life. And that very morning that I prayed that, I went in and he was talking to somebody else, and then I chimed in, not even thinking about it. And next thing I know, that man, my coworker, and I were having a conversation. And the way he was acting, didn't seem like he was a believer, but he does believe from a long time ago. You can tell when somebody's been hurt, and there's a lot of cover up, and there's things in people's lives that they're deep down inside, they've shoved, they've pushed away the love of the Father in place of everything else, some circumstances and things that's happened in people's lives. They become bitter or whatever the reason. But we got talking a lot. He knows Tom Horn, or he listens to a lot of his stuff, and he knows what I'm trying to say is he's always been one of those. He knows prophecy, the Bible prophecy. He knows a lot more of the scriptures than I could have imagined, because he never talked about it. But so I thought that was really awesome. But the next morning, again on the way to work, I was praying that Father would continue to use me, even in a more in a bigger way, to really bring this guy, kind of like what this whole season of this Feast of Dedication is about, is to bring others into the light, and show our light, and show others that, through our own humility and the light that shines, that people just need to see that we're not attacking them, and that we are humble. And I think humility breaks down the walls in people. They'll either continue to be angry because they don't know how to deal with it, or they'll break down and they'll open up to you. And that's what that guy did that morning. Then the following morning, as a matter of fact, first thing in the morning, he started talking about Nebuchadnezzar's statue and the revived Roman Empire and all of that. And I thought it was just fascinating. We had a incredible discussion. And next thing I know, he's turning around and he's shaking my hand and apologizing for how he acted that day. He knows that I came to him and apologized, and he said, I'm really sorry for being mean. And I just thought that was just powerful, because now I'm able to speak into his life and really share what it means to be loyal to one master. And that morning I had been listening to Romans 7, and it was also that same morning that he says, I really need to stop, this. I have a really bad habit, of I'm just struggling with some things. And he says, I don't. He says, I'm like Paul, I do the things that I don't want to do. And I'm really battling that. And this guy was a pretty heavy, his speech was very vulgar. But quite interesting that he cleaned it up when he's around me. Even when he's talking to somebody else, if I'm around now, he doesn't speak bad words. He doesn't say anything vulgar. And so he's really trying to clean it up. But, it's not me. It's not that I'm convicting him. It's that maybe, there hasn't been anybody around to hold him to the fire and to say, you know what, you say that you believe, then this is how to act. This is what we need. We need to walk out what we believe. And, I think that's a great segue into what I wanted to share this morning with John 10. And so just praise Father with me, because he's answering a lot of prayer. There were some questions about me. I'm at my job. I'm slated to be, or I'm slated right now as a casual or part-time employee. And I really, Father brought that around, and I found out yesterday that what I have been praying, what others have been praying with us about, is that I will go full-time. And I found out yesterday that I will be going full-time. So Father, just bless his name for that. It says in John 10:22, at that time, the Feast of Dedication, or Hanukkah, came to be in Jerusalem, and it was winter. And Yahushua was walking in the set-apart place in the porch of Shlomo, the porch of Solomon. So the Jews, the Yehudim, surrounded him and said to him, how long do you keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, say to us plainly. Yahushua answered them, I have told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness concerning me. And he goes on talking to them about, if you believe me, then you're going to hear my voice, because my sheep hear my voice. And it wasn't until Messiah said, I and the Father are one. I and the Father are echad. It was then that the Jews picked up, or the Yehudim picked up stones to stone him. Verse 32, Yahushua answered them, many good works I have shown you from my Father. Because of which of these do you stone me? And they basically said, we're not going to stone you for doing good deeds. We're stoning you because you made yourself equal with Father. Well, if what Messiah said in saying that he and the Father are one, that's what really upset them, because he said, you being a man, you make yourself Elohim. So Yahushua answered them. He says, wait a minute. He said, isn't it written in your own Torah? Now he's talking about his word. And it says, I said you are Elohim, now little e Elohim, little God. And that's in Psalm 82, verse 6. It says, if he, Father, Yahuwah, called them Elohim with a little e, to whom the word of Elohim came, and it is impossible for the scriptures to be broken, why do you say of him whom the Father set apart and sent into the world, you are blaspheming because I said I am the son of Elohim? He said, listen, if you don't believe me, at least believe the works that I do. And so, I'm reading this, and I go back to Psalm 82, verse 6, but actually I'm going to start in verse 1. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you, because this is the passage in John 10 that covers Messiah's time during the Feast of Dedication, meaning that he participated in the Festival of Lights. So it says, Psalm 82, Elohim stands in the congregation of El. In other words, he stands in his own congregation, the people that have gathered unto him. He judges in the midst of the Elohim, the little e. How long would you judge perversely and show partiality to the wrong? Selah. Give right ruling to the poor and fatherless. Do right to the afflicted and needy. Rescue the poor and needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wrong. They do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, you are Elohim, and all of you are sons of the Most High. And so what he's saying is, there are judges that are set up, and they're supposed to execute righteousness. And to the people, to the common people, these Pharisees were the little Elohims, the little e, the judges. And he brought this about because he wanted to address their lack of basically failing to do their job in taking care of the poor and needy and judging rightly the people. And he was just basically telling them that if you are sons of Elohim, if you are little Elohim, you are sons of the Most High. And really that's what we all are. We are to judge, do justice as a judge, do justice to the needy and to the poor and to the afflicted. And in other words, do right by them. And in that we are judging rightly and judging correctly. And so he was telling them basically, listen, you're not doing the works that you see that I am doing, because I am doing the works of my Father, and I am of my Father, and my works follow after me. So basically he took them and what they said, because they were trying to say making him equal with Elohim, and they were very upset. So in other words, like it says in other places in the scriptures, that we are known by our works, we are known by our fruit. And they were very upset because they were saying that Messiah was making himself equal with his Father, and he is in that aspect, being that they were one. But he was trying to help them to understand and make them see that it was by, if you don't believe what I'm saying, then at least believe the works. So that's another way of sharing the good news, is to be able to, if people won't believe really what we say, at least the works that we do, and we are supposed to be doing works for the Father, because that's what He's given us His Spirit to do. So earlier I said that Messiah was equal with the Father. What I was trying to say with that is that there's the Father, which is His head, and then the Son. So they're equal, but they're not equal. It's a hard concept for us to understand. But I wanted to bring that out and kind of tie all this back in with the testimony of sharing with that man my humility. And I'm not trying to exalt myself, but the works that I showed was the action of humility, and maybe it will help him to once again to really believe and to see that, hey, there's someone out there that's actually living and is loyal to the Master and loyal to what he believes. And maybe that will be something that he can grab a hold on, because people they get covered up with hurt, and they get covered up with circumstances and things as they go through life, And it's not that they're bad people, but we need to be that light. And sometimes, if there's enough darkness in a person, and we approach them, it's like turning on a bright spotlight, and either they'll run away or they'll embrace it. And so I just want to thank Father that this man embraced the light that Father used in me to shine in the darkness. And so just want to continue to pray for his complete salvation. Not that he maybe hasn't professed that he believes, but once again, we all have to realize that salvation, we are not saved until the very end. We have to go through, because he allows the persecution, he allows the evil in this world to help us decide, where do we stand? And if there's no tribulation, there's no persecution, there's never going to be anything that's going to separate us. We're always going to be in the middle. Well, I think we want to live this way, but we really want to live this way. We can't be double-minded. We have to make a decision what side of the fence we want to be on. And so, if at all possible, that my life could be used to help people decide what side of the fence they want to be on, and that's my calling, then I welcome it. So just Rivka and I want to bring to you blessings, share with you blessings from Father. We speak blessings into your life, and we thank you for all that you guys have done for us. And we just want to say Hag Sameach, and just have a wonderful rest of the Feast of Dedication this season, and just go out and just shine your lights before men, and so that they can, don't hide it. They need to see it. They need to, because you have more to offer than what you think you do. Don't let the enemy tell you that you don't have what it takes, because you do have what it takes. And the reason why you have what it takes is because you allow Father to change you from the inside out, and you allow Him to operate, and you stop controlling your own life, and you just allow Him to work through you and to pour into you and to pour out of you. And you just need to be a vessel that's set apart unto Him, and that's our job. As long as we are set apart unto Him, He can use us. And don't think that just by, telling somebody, hey, God loves you. He loves you very much. Don't think that that's insignificant, because it may be exactly what they need to hear at that time. So make yourself available for the Master, and have a blessed Hanukkah season. Joy and shalom and Shabbat shalom. Be at rest and be at peace.